Gabriel here. Today I want to show you how to clean data in Excel. Now you can be wondering, why do I have to clean data? The reason is because the clean data give rise or scale up overall production and also make available highest quality information necessary for decision making. Because that's always the end product of data analysis, whereby you have to make adequate decision that will bring about increase in productivity and efficiency. So, and that is the reason why you need to learn how to clean data. Another reason is because data are collected in different sources, different ways. And due to so many factors, we can have error of omission, error of commission, whereby you can begin to see duplicated values, you can begin to see blank spaces, you can begin to see inconsistency in the format of the data collected and the rest. So this is the reason why you need to clean up your data so that you can have a credible and forged data set that can be useful to carry out your exploratory data analysis and make visualization possible, whereby you can make adequate decision to tell adequate story. So before we get to it, you to sit back and relax as we get to this. But don't forget to hit the notification button so that you get to be notified each time I release a new video. Also subscribe to my channel and remember to like and also to share to your friends. Feel free to download the file I use for this practice. It is placed in the description below. So let's get to it. See, this is the data set that we have. Yes, there are few, but it could be the data set that has hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands records. So it is still the same principle, the same that applies to all. Now, what we're going to do is to learn some cleaning tricks that can help us as a data analyst to clean up our data. As you can see in this data set, like the name column, the first column here, you can see that the names are not written in the right format, right? Then some other things, you can see some blank rows, you can see some unwanted spaces, some blank rows, some unwanted spaces are all here. And the date format, they are not really consistent, and so on and so forth. So all this needed to be cleaned up and be made to be in the right format so that it can be ready for proper analysis that can guarantee you having a good and right visualization that can enhance your decision making as regard this data set. So now the first thing that we need to do, as you can see, some of the text are hidden, they are not obvious. So we need to resize the column in order to reveal the hidden text in each of the columns. So how do we do that? Just take your mouse to the beginning at this point, to the top of the column, and then left click and hold it down. Then you drag to the end of the column. Now doing that, you now take the mouse back and hover it around the column head, that's the alphabet section here, and ensure that you cite this thick black cross. Once you see this thick black cross, then you are ready for the expansion of each of the column. Now, all you need to do once you get that is to double click. Once you double click, you can see it is all done, and it will assume the size of the longest text in each of the column. It doesn't mean it's going to unify the size of each of the columns. No, rather it will make sure that each of the column assumes the size of the longest text in each of the cells, as you can see. And this will be done once and for all. as against you dragging and dragging and dragging for each of the column. That's the first thing that we do. Now you can see in this data set, we have some blank rows in this. So the next thing to do is to get rid of these blank rows. So how do you do that? First is to highlight the blank rows and then you delete them. So how do we highlight them? Some will say you should, highlight them and bring them out in form of color. It depends on you. What we want is to get rid of the um, blank column, blank rows. So now you highlight by going through the same process and then you drag to the end so as to highlight the whole data set. Then you now click on, you use Control G to open, go to dialog box. Then you now click on special. Opening this special will take you to go to special, and then from there you click on blanks, and this will now highlight all the blank rows that you have. Alternatively, you can go to your home tab and then click on find and select, and then you see go to special. Directly you go and get that same dialog box, and then you click on your blanks and off you go. Now the blank rows have been selected, so now we need to get rid of them. How do you get rid of them? Also, you go to the home tab. In the home tab at the cells ribbon, you see delete there. Then click on the drop down arrow. Then you now see options where you can delete cells, delete sheet rows, delete sheet columns, delete the entire sheet. But right now we are dealing with rows, so we'll go for delete sheet rows. And once you click that, voila, you can see all the blank rows are gone. Is that clear now? So that's another thing. Now I want to say this to you. What you need to delete should be blank rows. Reason is because rows, each row represent records. So if you have blank cells, for example, and you decided to delete them, that will not really help. So once you have a blank cell, sometimes the blank has their own story. They have their reasons why they are there. So what I would advise is contact the source of the data set and find out what they stands for. So in order to, you have to fill it up. That's the end result. But you need to find out what they stands for before you now decide on what to do. But definitely you can't delete blank cells. It's only blank rows that best practice demands that you actually delete. Is that clear? So now let's go to the next thing to do. Let's try and get rid of these unwanted spaces that we have here. You can see here, you can see here, you have some unwanted spaces like that, like that, some in between, some at the edge, various edges and all that. So now we have it in this row. As many rows that you have, it's still the same treatment you are going to do. So now we need to create a fresh column at the front or behind the rows, the column that we are dealing with. So how do you do that? You just right click on this and insert a new column and you start your work. Now, what function do we use to do this? We use a trim function. That's what we call it, trim. So how do we go about it? You just go to the top here and type equals to trim. Then you open your bracket by just clicking tab. Then you can see it's asking you to specify the text you are dealing with. So we say this, and then you click, you close your brackets and click enter. Now you didn't notice anything here because there is actually no obvious rules. No obvious unwanted spaces there, but we have it in order. So what do? We try to fill it in all the columns. And how do you do it in an easy form? Is to just take your cursor to this edge here, this square box, this little square box here, and make and drag your mouse around there, just hover it around until you see this black tick cross also, not this white one, no, but until you get the black tick cross. Then all you need to do is to double click. With this, it will fill up all the entire column, and voila, you can see this one has done. You can see they are well arranged now. This maintenance, the unwanted space is gone, and so on and so forth. Now, the next thing is for us to copy, and then because once you have this, so you can type your department now if you want, department, or you start it from that same point. Okay, so now the next thing is to get rid of the unwanted um, column that we don't need again. Now, look, take note of this. You can't just delete this because remember, this is a formula that is referencing this cell. So if you delete it, look at it, you're going to have a reference challenge because they are actually what they are referencing has been taken off. So how do you handle this situation? All you need to do is to copy these new ones because Excel is seeing cell, is seeing formulas here. It's not seeing the values. It's only displaying the values for you, but in the real sense, it's seeing the formula instead. So what you do is to copy the entire cell and then you paste them special, whereby use you now paste the values instead. So how do you do that? You can click on the first one, then instead of dragging down, because you have a lot of data, you can't just be dragging and dragging when you have a lot of data. So just hold down Control Shift and then the down button. Now it will highlight everything for you. Then you just copy using Control C. Now, after using Control C, we now need to paste it and paste special, either on this place or at that same spot. Being highlighted, you just come to your home tab. You can see this paste here. You can click on this arrow. That's the first way. Then you now see paste value and you click this one underneath, and then you have your values there. Or another alternative is for you to right click and then you go to paste special and then you click this button. Or the moment you click Control P, which is paste, this shows up and then you just click and then you click this and that's all. Now it is done. Then all we need to do, let's delete this. Once you delete this, you can see your data is intact. Nothing has happened to your data. So that's how you remove unwanted spaces using trim function. Now, the next thing for us to do at this time again is to make sure that we have the right standardized format for our text. Like these names, you can see they are not written in the right format because you can't be writing names in small letters. No, it's not acceptable. So how do we correct this? In Excel, we have three functions that handles cases. We have the upper, which converts any text to capital letters, or we have the lower function, which converts all the text to small letters, or you can as well use the proper. Proper is converting your data to your text to initial capital, meaning it's going to capitalize each word in the cell. So now let's get to it and see how it goes. Now let's create a fresh column here. Now you do this. So I'm going to demonstrate the three case function for each one of them. Now I'll take it back to the one we want to use. So for example, we want to turn everything here to capital letter. So what do? You just type equals to upper, and then you open the bracket by clicking just your tab, and then you click the text that you are referring to, then you click OK. Now you can see that everything has been converted to capital letter. Now, if you want to turn everything to small letter, let's say like this one, you want to turn it to small letter, you just type equals to lower, then you open the bracket by clicking tab, then you you pick the cell address that the text you are referring to, you close the bracket and hit enter. Now you can see everything is converted to small letters. Then if you want to make it to capitalize each word, then like I said, you use proper. So how do you do that? Just say equals to proper, you open your bracket again, and then you click on the text you are referring to, and then you close the bracket and hit enter. You can see that everything has been turned to proper. So those are the three case functions that we have in Excel. So now let's get to our work and do what we are doing right now. So we want to use the proper function to make each word here to be capitalized since it's name. Names are meant to start with capital letter. So let's start it from this first one. Even though it's correct, we are going to apply the formula throughout. So just say equals to proper, click your tab to open the bracket, and then you pick the text you are referring to, and you hit enter. Then you take it back, and then take your mouse to the edge, and then you double click so that you can fill everything. Voila, you can see everything has been done. So you can't still get rid of this because once you delete, like I said earlier, you are going to have reference issue. So we don't do that. So you just quickly, the same thing, press Control Shift and down to highlight everything. Then to make your work very easy, just press Control C and then to copy. Then at the same time, press your Control V. Once you press your Control V, you can see that this has popped up. I've given you three options. So it's just one of them, which I consider fast, so that's why I'm using it. So you just click on this and then paste the values and then you click on this. So voila, so that's it. Everything is done. Then we can get rid of this. Just right click and delete. So that has been done. So what next do we have to do is to remove the duplicates, because I think we are almost done with all the data sets that we're dealing with. So let's remove duplicate. Now, how do we remove our duplicate? There is a duplicate function here at your data tab. Under data tools, you see remove duplicate. In some Excel, it may not be written, but you see this sign there. All I expect you to do is to go to data tools and then just be moving your mouse around it. It will be showing you the name. Okay, so you set for delete, remove duplicate. So let's go. We need to highlight or just click anywhere here, and then you come to your data tab and then click on this. You can see everything has been highlighted for you, and then sure, you let it know that my data has headers. Ensure you check this, and then you can see that all the columns have been selected. So you just click OK, and it tells you the number of duplicates found and deleted. Look at it. 5 duplicate values found and removed. So 25 unique values remain. So when you go back, you see that no more duplicate in your data set. So we don't have it up to 30 that we have again. Now we have this. So that is how you take care of duplicate. Now, again, another thing that we need to learn how to do from this data cleaning, from this data that we are seeing here, is that you can see that the dates are not standardized. They are not in the same format. Look at some are showing you values that are counting from, I think, 1990 or like that, and like that. So we need to make it all to be in the same format. So what do? Just highlight from here, and and then you go to the home tab, and then you, under numbers, then you change this general to short dates. Or you can choose long date, you can choose whatever option, but I think you are good with short dates. And then once you click that, you can see every other thing has been converted to the same format. So that's how you take care of this. Then another thing that I want us to learn again is like this name, for example. You can see names, it was written as name now, or it contains first name and last name. So how do you split them? So now we want to learn how to split column. That's one thing that we want to learn. We have many ways to handle cases like this. So the first one, select where you want to split, and then come to text to column, and then definitely every text, you can see that we have a delimiter there. So you just select it that you're okay with the delimiter. You click on next, and then from there, now you now need to select what delimiter are you talking about. So number, so you now pick, and now you can see that the delimiter is either space, comma, full stop, all those stuff, forward slash, question mark, and the rest. So you select a specific one that separates your column. So here we have space, and when you click on it, you see it manifesting. You can see that this is the preview of it. So what do? You go to next. Is that clear? You go to next, and then from next, now under next, you now select where, precisely where you want it to be positioned. We're supposed to have created another extra column here. That means you want this to be, so we want this or this one. So we want the two of them. So we choose where we want it to be. So let's say we are picking here so that we can return it back there. So you just click on this, and then you click finish. So it takes them both to this side. So now what do is to now copy them and take them over to that side. So you hold down your shift, and then you copy, and then you come and paste it there. Paste cell. So you now change the heading of this to first name, then you give this second last name, make it a last name. So that's what you can get rid of this. Another option, another way to it, so don't let me get rid of it. Another way to doing this is to create a column in the front of it. Since you want them to be in twos, you can as well. Then you just come and use what they call flash fill. So here, Excel will preempt what you are doing. So you can just write Gabriel, that's the first name, then you go to the next one, and then press Ctrl E. You can see that it filled up every other one. Then you take Adebola, okay, go to the next line, and then press Ctrl E. You can see that everything has been filled up for you. So that is another option whereby you can split your code. So that's that. So we can delete this as well. So also in terms of work location, so you may decide to say, oh, I want to split this as well. So you can use the same method as I've shown you. Just type Lagos, then you go to the next line and press Ctrl E. Then it makes everything to be splitted, and so on and so forth. So you can see the way you split column. Now, haven't done, what about you now say, no, I want the two columns to be back together. Let's say you want to merge column because it's another thing. So instances will warrant you to, merge column. So let's say you initially have this as first name, last name, and you want to have them as just name. So in this case, you use a function called concatenation. That's what you use. So how do you go about that? You press equals to concatenate. Then you now choose the first column and then you separate it with a comma. Now because you want them to have space, okay, you can now click the second column and then you close the bracket and hit enter. Now if you observe is that this did not create space in between. That is how concatenation works. So if you want to separate them with anything, either space or comma or anything you want to use to separate them, you have to put it in quotes. That is the way it works. So now, so let's run it again. Just say equals to concatenate. Then you click the first one, so you put comma. Then before the second letters or the second column, then you insert your quotes and then you click space bar to create the space and then you quote it back. So with that, you have created space in between. Same thing, you can insert any text of your choice, any string of your choice. You can write sentence, you can write a word, you can write an alphabet, you can write numbers. Make sure you put it in quotes. So this goes that way. Then you click on the second name and then you hit enter. Now you can see that this has been settled. So what do you do again? Double click here, then it will fill up everything for you. So that is how you merge column as well. So you can call it name. Okay, and like I said, you still have to do control. You have to do paste special. You copy and then you paste and then you go to special so that it will remain as a function. As a value, not as function as it was before. So that's what you have to learn to do in data cleaning. You still have some other function, but for me, that's the most important part. Then another one is that, let's say you want to replace some values. You have some values to replace. Like, let's say you have some blank spaces. Let's create some artificial blank spaces. For example, let's say we have series of blank spaces and we actually need to replace them. So how do you go about that? You still have to highlight everything. So at this point, you can use Control A because there's no more blank rows anymore. So in this case, we are going to select the blanks. So by going to go to special, by going through the root of Control G, then you click on this special, then it opens this, then you pick the blanks. Then you can see that all the blanks have been selected. So what do you do? Let's say you want to replace them with 0, or you want to replace them with X, or you want to replace them with anything. So you just need to go to, from your home tab, you go to find and replace, you click on this. So I'm going to leave find words as blank because it is blank that I want to replace. So you leave it blank, then you come to replace with what? Now, what I want to replace it with, let's assume that I want to replace it with 0, or you say not available, NA or something. But let's take 0. You just click on find and replace. Once you click on this, you can see it has populated all of them. So then you close. You can see even this that I consider blank was also populated. So to get rid of that, so you can see all of them, they are all selected. Or another option is that before you replace them, you can now come here and maybe change the color, just give it a color just to identify. Then you can go to find and replace so that you can really see where you have those blanks. So by the time you click on this, it's the same thing. Click OK and close, so you can see that they are all populated with 0. So that's how you clean up data in Excel. So from here, you can see that your data are clean, no more duplicate, no more blank rows, no more the data are in the right record. So that is all. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and also the notification button so that you can be the first to know each time I post a new video.